Hello everyone, it's Tech Economy TV and today promises to be exciting. As you know, we always bring you the best and this is one of our specials. It's called the editorial special. And today, majorly, we have one big reputable editor-in-chief of one of the best and the biggest media brands in the country. But first of all, I'll tell you what the editorial special is. The editorial special is an opportunity where we bring the blog and the websites straight to video content where we talk about the top stories, what you guys read the most, and we dissect it and we talk about it. So today, as you know, we have Mr. Peter Oluka. Did I pronounce it right?
Thank you so much for that one. Yes, you got it right.
I got it right.
Yeah.
All right. So how has it been in the editorial arm of Tech Economy? How's it going?
It's been fine. We've seen a lot of news, a lot of things happening in the ecosystem, a lot of things happening in the country, the economy, talking about the tech. In the tech space, we see talking about issues around, especially telcos, trying to raise issues around what's happening in the industry. They are asking for a review of.
Yeah, but let's not enter it.
On the economy side, you've seen that inflation a bit of came down a bit, but they reflect what's happening in the street. When you go to the street, you see that guys are not smiling. People are not still asking questions. The other day I posted on my Facebook, I was asking, what is the official pump price of petrol in Nigeria? I know that it has been deregulated, sort of. But at the same time, there should be a kind of cap. People cannot just buy and sell anyhow because you're seeing a lot of people happening. But I'll just allow you to ask a question.
Yeah, all right, awesome, interesting stuff. So as we dive in, do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, and most importantly, follow us across all our social media platforms. Very important, please. I beg you in the name of God. I'm using God to beg you now. Before we get serious, all right. So let the conversation begin. This is Tech Economy TV. All right, so we're back now, and I would like to start with money first.
Okay.
Because money is very important and everybody likes money. So a startup got funding, and these days it's very hard to get funding, and you see people say, oh, the people that are getting funding now, they have connections, they have this. And I was talking to a tech startup the other day. He was a founder and he was saying, oh, the only people that are getting funding these days are the fintech guys, that we that were doing edutech, healthcare, HMO tech, and all that. We're not getting money. So what is the reason why?
Okay, so the truth is that there are some couple of things that investors look at before you can give you funding. You can get funding from any platform, any sector of the economy. I tell you the truth that these days, those in the climate space, because globally, climate is one of the biggest issues now. Those start off looking at clean energy, those looking at renewable energy, they're getting funding.
Wow.
So the fintech they're talking about, I think Waza.
Yeah, Waza $8 million. $8 million. Yes.
Last week, they announced it. They are lucky to get that, and that's because there's value in the space where they are playing. The fintechs are seeing that the fund coming to the fintech space in Nigeria is kind of declining because it's a kind of saturated market. But looking at Waza, they have a special area they're focusing on, that is cross-border payments. And I tell you, there's a report we published this morning. The report by Dupa, which says that about 40% of payments that happen between East African and West African countries in terms of cross-border payment trade happens through cash. So possibly they have seen that gap. They want to close that gap. Maybe they have pitched to the investors that we want to close this gap because this has a huge market. Imagine carrying cash from all the way from East Africa to West Africa to trade. So that shouldn't happen. The time when we have PAPs, at the time when we have people who are building blockchain technology to help banks become seamless, we have like Zone doing fantastically well in that space, and you want to. So there's a market for Waza in the sense that cross-border payment is something that is still budding. It's something that is still open. It's something that there's value proposition for them in that space. So raising that money, investors will always have seen the value. Like I said from the beginning, it is value you are going to create that move behind of the investor check. They don't just wake up in the morning and sign the check. It was bring value. So for those who are complaining, or maybe those who are wondering what is happening in other sectors, if you bring the value to the table, of course,
You
investors
get
will be
funding.
interested in what.
So I have two questions,
Yeah.
and the first one is, in this space now is very difficult, like I said, to get funding, and a lot of people can attach this funding to mismanagement.
Mm.
I will not mention any brand name, but recently we saw these guys give them so much money, and before you know, they started buying Hilux's police escorts. What?
Yeah, yes. So the thing is that when something happens in the ecosystem, we shouldn't just think that it's just about that platform
Mhm.
that is going to affect. Um, the investor community are going to kind of ask themselves questions. Are we just, because you have seen, look at the number of startups that have closed shop in the last 1 or 2 years now.
Yes.
Most of them have raised money, and some of them were genuine enough to come out and tell the investors, "Oh, we're going to return your money to you." If you are going to see that kind of window, that even if I didn't make profit, I can have my money, investors will be willing to give money. But in the sense that you keep putting your money, it's like showing your kind of something in the ocean. Like, you don't have an opportunity of going to bring it back. So they're going to be cautious
Yes.
in that sense. So when that's why startups need to pass through some stages. When you say you come for you come for incubation, it's for a reason that you are going to be incubated, so that you understand the mechanics, you understand the management of fund, how to run a startup. We have seen some young people who are energetic, who have the technical know-how,
Yeah.
but may not have the managerial know-how to manage the fund that's been given to them. So it's one thing to know what to code.
Yes.
It's another thing to know how to manage the business of what you are building coding.
Yes.
So that's why do you ask yourself, why do fund managers or maybe investors ask you to have a a co-founder? For us that are so founders, it's not that you can't do it alone, but sometimes they ask for something like that for validation, to see if this person, so that they say that two heads are always better than one. But if one head can do it, well, sometimes I have two heads,
Yes.
and those two heads cannot equal to one. So I'm not saying that those who failed because they cannot manage their funds, but because investors have to ask questions based on the number of failure of startups. It's not just a Nigerian thing. It's across the world. It happens. In the US, they reported about 4,000 to 5,000 businesses closed. Within a short period, around the startup ecosystem. So it's a general issue. So when the funds are not coming, and also the investors also look at what happened in the stock market about a few years back, whereby the market crashed and there was a kind of issue. What's happening? Some people are selling their stocks. So it's a global issue. It's a global issue that is affecting every sector. Nevertheless, there are some people who are looking for that value. If you have value, and you are genuine, you know what you want to do, and you have a clear-cut strategy to get to where you're going, investors are going to be willing to back you.
Okay, so my final question, and this is a little political, in the sense that we have ECOWAS, we have West African states, and
yes.
How difficult is it to have one unified currency?
So that issue has been on the front burner. That issue has always been, and will continue to be there. But the thing is, in ECOWAS region, do we have a common economic idea? That's one thing you have to ask ourselves. How is it for me to trade with Ghana? How is it for me to trade with Senegal? How is it easy for me to trade with other countries in the West Africa
region?
Do we have a common, even if you're talking about politics, do you have a common political agenda? Do we have a common economic agenda they are pursuing? Because that is what brings us together. Look at Europe. If you touch one country in Europe, every part of them will react, yes, because there's a bond. There's something connecting them. So if any of them is touched, the other people react. But in West Africa, we tend to react based on our individual countries' feelings or activities. There's no that common bond. But I believe that a time is going to come where we are going to have that unified currency,
Yeah,
because we can't run away from it in the sense that trade is something that unites us.
Mm.
If you're looking for something to unite us, trade is one of them. There are some things that Nigeria needs. Nigeria needs to export, like what it needs to import. So trade is something that's going to unite us, but it has to do with when we are going to look at the larger market, which is the AFTA, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. If you are going to look at that broader, network across Africa, discover that we're going to start having our own bloc, economic bloc. Before now, we don't have a ECOWAS
passports,
but we have it today. So
Yes.
it's a process. So I think it's a process. So within a short period of time, we're going to see that come to be, and it's something I'm predicting that ECOWAS is going to come to terms to agree on this. But before that happens, we need to have a common agreement in terms of our economic pursuit. What is our agenda? What is our agenda? Instead of just going to, I want to go and join BRICS. I want to go and join this and join that.
Yeah,
we have come home, come home and harness our own.
And it's a good thing that they've discovered crude oil in Ghana.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that Ghana and Nigeria have in common now, crude oil.
Yeah,
so,
but the truth is that Ghana, they're going to see, first of all, they want to compete. They want to see that what are Nigeria's weaknesses, so that they can leverage on that to compete. So what I'm trying to say is that it's no longer the time where I say I'm a big brother. It's a time of partnership.
Yes.
Before now, we need to have things like Dapo and Sons Nigeria Limited. But these days, it's not about partnership, because if we do that at the regional level, or it's Nigeria and Nigeria alone, I think it's not going to help us. Also, let's look at what's our foreign policy. Our foreign policy, is it about West Africa, getting West Africa to come to terms, to come to the level of economic buoyancy? Is it just Africa? Is it just us looking beyond Africa? So if our economic policy, foreign policy has to do with the economic well-being of West Africa, you see, I'm going to focus more of our strength in terms of infrastructure. Moving from Lagos to Benin, the road network, how is it? Moving from Nigeria to Ghana on air, what is the fair price coming from Ghana to Nigeria and coming from Nigeria to? So do we have a common agreement on that? So it's not just about seeing each other's weaknesses, but seeing where we can see our strength, where we can be together.
I don't want us to dwell so much on that. I think that's a very robust conversation, entirely. So let me know what you think in the comment section as regards this whole conversation. But I would like to link it up to another very interesting conversation. Yes. And I would like to say that I think Nigeria, I think it may be a shot at tech economy too, but I think Nigerians don't really report, and the media space, we pad reporting. And if you ask me why we say we pad reporting, is the headline is IHS Towers layoff 100 plus.
Okay.
100 plus staff.
Yes, I know. Okay.
And there's this other media platform, they were on Arise TV, and he said that anytime the media reports something to you or they disclose an amount of figure, multiply it by 2. Okay. That is the actual figure.
No. So it's not always like that. For us in tech economy, there's what we practice what is called developmental journalism, and in doing that, you are not just always there to see about the negatives. Yeah. You're always going to see, you see the negative, you also see the positives. So for us, before we come out in numbers, we don't just report because every other person is reporting. We do our due diligence before we report. And that's why we go to our website, we tell you that we report tech, business, economy that is accurate and you can trust. So that issue of IHS, as of today, IHS has not come out to say categorically that this is the number of people, but this is based on what insider reports. This is based on investigation. As we have to look at also what the question is: why should a company like IHS be thinking about laying off people or workers at this time? It tells you the state of the economy. So what people should be looking at is what is causing, what has led to companies laying off workers. It means that the economy, there's something wrong somewhere. The economy, for instance, the company lost like
$1 million,
302% of, they call it about 1 billion loss last year, which is like 302% compared to 2022 loss, compared to 2022. So, and that tells you, even though they've said, oh, that they are laying off people is not because of the economy, but man, look at it. If the economy is buoyant, they will be willing to take more people.
Yes.
If the telcos are ready to go to some hinterlands, they are ready to go to hinterlands to deploy their services there, which is a tower, so that telcos can use them. If the economy is so buoyant that the clusters in Nigeria, are you aware that some places in Nigeria where you don't have 2G network. You don't have 2G network.
Imagine in 2024.
They have such clusters in Nigeria, still exist in Nigeria. So if the resources are there for the telcos to move to those places because they have seen the business prospect in those places, they are going to work with their partners, which is the tower company, IHS, to move to deploy services in those areas so they can use those towers at co-location to serve those underserved areas or even unserved areas. So it means that the economy is shrinking. It's affecting everybody. It's affecting and the company, when companies look at their books, when things are not balancing up, they need to look for a way to balance them.
Yeah.
And also, the other side of it, on the flip side of it, is that technology is going to displace some people who are not ready to use the technology to remain in their business. You have to look at the tower companies. There are some things that are going to happen, that AI is going to play in those areas, that if you as a staff or a worker, you are not prepared for the future workplace, you see yourself being shown the exit door, because some technology definitely is going to affect the way some things are done. Yes. Even in media today, you see that some people, some video can be created with AI. Yeah. You can create before now. You couldn't do something like that. Couldn't do something like that. So it's affecting a lot of things. So the economy is there, advancement in technology is there, and the environment, the ecosystem is changing. So if the telcos are making gains, they'll be willing to pay more. They're willing to move more. So
IHS can expand.
And IHS can expand. They have more tower now to manage, and even taking more workers.
To even run those towers, the price of diesel.
So of course you understand that. You understand to get the diesel to run those towers. I want to give you an instance. There's a telco in this country that one of their landing station where they landed their cable.
Yes.
The last time I was there, they said about 10 years back, they've been on diesel. And this is a critical infrastructure that must be on every day. So if you begin to multiply the number of the tanks, they have like 4 tanks. And each of the tanks, to feed those tanks, you have to bring a trailer load of diesel to fill one of the tanks. And they have the 4 there that must be up running every day. So calculate how much they have they are using to. But imagine if there's electricity that is available for them to use. They don't have to use that. That money they have used to power that station, they have used that money to do something else. And so it's a ripple effect. So when this happens, don't think that just this company that when the telco said that they have lost some billions, don't think it's just about the telco. The young man who is selling the recharge card down there is going to be
affected. Yes.
Going to be impacted.
Okay, it goes round, but I must give credit for electricity. I think electricity is better in Lagos. I can only speak for where I live.
Depends on which part of Lagos where you are.
Okay.
Depends on which part of Lagos. Some places that when you say this now, some people in Lagos will get angry with you.
That's why I said.
Okay,
let me streamline it to where I live. I think electricity is better now.
But the economy have no choice than to make it that way, because Lagos as of today. Look at what's the percentage of contribution to the economy. Yeah. Where if you're a company and you know that this particular goods is giving you more revenue than every other, of course you're going to make sure that that goods in the market that people buy it. Yeah. So Lagos is like a special bride.
Yeah, talking about availability, like they said, the big boys have started crying. Like it's touching everybody. This is an economy where there's no middle class anymore. The rich and the poor. Yeah. MTN, the big boys in the telecoms sector, they are complaining. We saw during the end bad governance protests, vandalization of some of their properties, and MTN keeps on crying that we have not been making money. And this is a conversation that is heavy in the telecoms space. And you mentioned it, you spoke about it earlier. And I knew that there was a conference recently where telcos are coming out to say we're not making money. Even if some other telco companies are, I'm not going to call names, are still padding it that we're still managing.
Yes.
So what's going on with MTN?
It's not just MTN. It's a telecom issue. It's a telecom sector issue. It's a sectoral issue in the sense that I think there's a little disconnect between the players and the government. The government wants to make sure that you and I receive these services at a very reduced rate because telco, the data is like blood that runs in our system today. The data for people to view what we are
discussing now,
they have to use their data to do that. So everything we are doing now is directly somehow connected to it, technology. And telecom is the lifewire of many businesses today. If telcos should pack their bags and say they're leaving, even though we may have more investors, but before you have that investment, within that time, imagine if there's an internet outage, the kind of chaos, the kind of this, how people react to it. So the issues have been there, but most times those issues were ignored or have been ignored. I'll just take a typical example: the right of way. The telcos are telling government, when you're constructing new roads, construct and put the dots, create the highway.
So we can pass our cables
there. Maybe pay you some money for doing that instead of each of us digging holes. But governments, most times, wouldn't want to do that because they know if you are coming to lay your fiber, if you're going to dig to lay your fiber, they're going to charge you. The government will charge you. Who government will charge you?
Area boys.
Area boys will charge you. A lot of people sometimes when road construction is going on, because those things are not well planned, the companies doing the digging, they will bring out those wires. They won't even know what those wires are. Those fiber optic cables. They just some are stolen, some are damaged. They'll have to go back to relay because if they don't do that, you and I will complain to the regulator that this company has not given us service. You see it. As little as at that level, that company is losing. And government said, we understand the issues they are having. Let us come and have a common agreement that per linear square meter, they are going to have 145 naira as charges for it. At the federal level, it was agreed. Some states say, we are going to give you zero charges on laying fiber. We are going to give you zero charges. Some states said no, you are going to pay. But some of those states that say are going to give you zero charges, you go at the back and add other things. That money you are going to pay times 2 of that money. These are some of the issues. Now, look at about the issue of when you hear that dollar is fluctuating, naira is fluctuating.
Yes,
it's affecting the telcos too because most of the equipment they use are imported. Do you know that sometime in the past, telecom equipment were included in CBN's list of those that should not get forex from the bank, from CBN?
Wow.
They are not telecom equipment. But we don't get these equipment ourselves. We don't produce them, we import them.
Yes.
But those were included among the 41 items on the list of CBN.
To be excluded from
getting forex from the banks. Which means they have to go to the what we call black markets to go and source it. So if in those days where you have dollar at official rate as 400 and you have unofficial rates which is parallel market or the black market at 700, the telcos have to buy it. That gap, what do you think happened to that gap between the 400 and 300? Someone is going to pay for it.
Yes.
It's affecting the balance sheets of the companies. Now, in the past 11 years, it happens that telecom sector is a sector that has not reviewed their rates. The call, the SMS,
data,
they have not reviewed their rates in the last 11 years. Oh, gracious NCC has made it happen for us. And we are happy as users. But as businesses,
they are not happy.
They are not happy. It's affecting them. And at the same time, it's going to come back to hurt us. Because if I cannot browse, because the telecom company or the telco could not give a service. It could be because of these factors I've listed.
Yeah.
It
Maintenance.
could be that they couldn't
Upgrade.
upgrade. Technology is developing every day. Who doesn't want to witness 5G? Who doesn't want to use 5G in Nigeria? Who would want to see the power of 5G to use it on your device? But at what rate is deployment of equipment for 5G going on in Nigeria now? So who can use it? The banks maybe can afford it, the big boys can afford it, but you and I, can we afford it? If things are not right to make the prices come down. So when the telcos say that when the CEO of MTN said that the industry is in a crisis, he's trying to ring the bell. It's an outburst. I see it as an outburst to see that, we're in pains. And when someone is in pain, there's a level you can bear it. So, but the thing is that I have known NCC to be a listening regulator, and I know they're going to listen to them and maybe bring to the attention of the presidency and see what they're going to do to make sure that everybody is happy. Because if the regulator is happy, or maybe the government is happy receiving taxes, and the operator is happy because they have a fair price, or have fair prices,
Yes,
or fair charges, and the consumer is happy because the services you paid for, you're receiving the equivalent of it. I think it will be a win-win for everybody. But in a situation whereby one of the parties is not happy, it means that we need to check and see what is happening.
and we need to check and see what's happening. And I think it's when you place a ball in a bowl and keep shaking it, there's no escape for that ball.
It's a chain reaction. It's
Exactly.
a chain reaction. In the sense that what happens to one of the telcos is trying to kind of rejig their process, see what is going to happen, see how they're going to play bigger in the market again. And at the same time, they're looking for funds or they have a new board now, they're having new investors now.
Yeah.
But the thing is that no matter the amount you have, if you are investing in the system and you are not able to get ROI,
Yes.
we are not going to be a happy player.
No, it won't.
Because for you to come and invest, so look at the FDI in the telecom space in the last 5 years. If people do their reports and they are not seeing how they're going to get their ROI, of course they're not going to come and invest.
Mm.
And this is a sector that the governments at the state level they see it as a cash cow. I'll give you an instance. There was a time that Kogi State government, I'm going to call names, Kogi State government, then they will tell the telcos to come and pay a certain amount of money. And if they don't pay, they go and switch off their base stations.
Just imagine.
Kogi is a kind of a hub for the telcos. It's a hub. So some of the services you receive in Abuja, you receive in parts of Benue, Nasarawa, and rest of them. So they are connected through that
Kogi station
hub. It's a hub. Because before now, I don't know, the last time I checked, I don't think they've done something about it. The FCT does not have that, the FCT master plan does not have the inclusion of telecom equipment, the underground equipment. They don't have the provision for it. So they have to use Kogi as a hub to deploy some of the services in that, at the FCT.
in the region.
So when that is done, and these guys keep saying that we are hurting our business by doing that, the government will just call them a bluff and continue doing what they're doing. By doing that, you are hurting the business. You understand? So I know that when some people are still angry with telcos. When they came, they were selling SIM cards, 30,000, 40,000 those days, I understand. But things have changed. A lot of things have changed between then and now. The economy, I think they have investors too.
Yes.
Look at the CSR they do. Look at the kind of things. Look at
Employment.
Airtel Touching Lives, what they have done. MTN Yellow. Look at what Glow is doing also. Glow is doing also. Look at what Nine Mobile is doing. Try to train people. Try to expose people to certain things. Try to.
But that's mandatory, no?
Try to go to schools to sponsor engineering students to get more engineers into. So they are doing a lot of things. They have invested.
But I thought that was mandatory. It's like a give back to society.
It's a give back to society, yes.
But it's mandatory now.
But it's mandatory. It's mandatory. You must give back to society. That is a must based on regulations and rest of them.
Okay, so let's move on to. I was about to say, oh, I'm going to start working for NNPC in terms of how much they are dashing out and giving. But that's cool. Did you see the publication that they published and how they did the breakdown of how much they give to charity?
Yeah, okay, it's okay. Oh well.
But I don't want us to discuss it. I'm just saying because of you mentioned CSR and everything.
Yes.
So for final story today, still on still kind of borders around MTN, and I see that you're very passionate about the telecoms space. Nigerian Electric Regulation Commission has said that some certain companies can generate electricity by themselves. I know Golden Penny is also a part of that list.
Yeah.
And MTN is also a part of that list. So what good does that do?
I think we should give them a.
Oh, is that a win?
Yes, it's a win.
Yeah, okay.
It's a win-win situation in the sense that this is the kind of thing we're asking for. If you know you can provide this service, allow people to provide themselves. Let me take you back a little bit. There was something that's during Buhari's government, they introduced one fantastic idea about companies building roads and they take back the money
for
tax. Taxation.
I think they did that for Dangote.
That's how
the Oshodi road.
The Apapa Oshodi expressway was reconstructed. And the MTN took one of the roads on the Enugu expressway to construct it. So what NERC has done is fantastic by allowing these companies to generate electricity themselves. Though I don't have all the modalities to see are they going to connect them to the national grid, or are they going to generate and use
by themselves,
maybe to serve the immediate communities. I don't have the details, but it's a brilliant idea, because like I give an instance, there was a telco had a undersea cable that landed somewhere in Lekki, and they are powering that station with gen or diesel for the past 10, 15, 20, going to 20 years. If we're able to generate electricity
by
themselves and disconnect the diesel, that money they would have used to buy the diesel, they'll turn it to some other things. So I think it's a brilliant idea that they've done that. I also believe that this policy has been there, but maybe has not been used as it were, or maybe has not been
maximized.
Because I know that at the time, even states are asked to generate
electricity
themselves, and but Nigeria's case has not been the issue of generation of electricity. It has been the issue of distribution.
Wow.
Yes, because sometimes the gencos will generate, but the distribution companies will not have the capacity to mop up all the things they've generated. So that's why I said I don't have all the modalities about this.
And that's another conversation as regards who did the federal government sell distribution licenses to. That's another.
If you go to that,
that's another conversation entirely.
We are not, if you go to discuss that, it's going to take us a little time to discuss that. But the truth is that what they have done now with this empowerment, with this current empowerment, that's how empower businesses to grow. By giving the businesses opportunity to generate electricity themselves, it's going to cascade down to the consumers in terms of the price of things they sell, the price of the services they render to the consumers. It's going to definitely impact them. So it's a good thing. It's a good idea. The government has come up with this idea, and I believe that the companies that have been given the opportunity are going to make.
I think 11, like about 11 of them.
Yes, about 11 of them are going to make the best use of this opportunity, because that is what the economy needs. We need to move away from all these 4,000 megawatts. 4,500 megawatts of electricity.
And I think it's a plus for renewable energy.
Yes.
It's clean energy and less dependence on crude.
Yeah, of course. That's another conversation entirely, because we are blessed with a lot of things. We have the solar, to give us the sun to give us solar power, but what are we doing with it? If you are moving from maybe I'm giving an example, from Kaduna to Zamfara State. Because I did my service in the north, I did my service in Zamfara State. So those days when I'm moving from Safe is within Zamfara State, moving from Safe to Gusau, and you see the expanse of land. You're asking yourself, not that all of them are being used for agriculture, for farming.
Yes.
So why can't we just deploy maybe solars?
Panels and those.
You see what China is doing. They now have solar farms. Those deserts, they're converting that desert to something, something usable to make best use of that desert. They are deploying solar in those places, converting them to run their rail and rest of them. So these are kind of things, ideas we want to see. So I believe that this is a start of something good, and I believe that government is going to make best use of that opportunity. Likewise, the companies that are involved.
All right, likewise, the companies that are involved, and the government needs to do better. I feel like everything revolves around the government, but not to waste any more time or not to stretch the conversation. You can join in on the conversation via the comment section. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on notification bell so you can get updates on all our posts. And feel free to also visit our website to catch the fastest updates on reporting around tech, business, and the economy. And also follow us across all our social media platforms. Very important. I remain Dako from Tech Economy. Thank you so much, Mr. Peter, for coming.
Nice having
I enjoyed the conversation, trust me.
so
I wish we could be doing this like every day. But I mean, soon. So till next time.
Thank you.
Bye bye. This is the editorial special.